Recording is on. Hey, welcome, folks. Man, I just got done with a presentation about like an hour ago, and good group, but man, it was fast paced and lots of stuff going on. So pulling all kinds of levers everywhere. So we're gonna just ease it back a little bit and talk about this whole annotation thing. So with that said, let me share the screen. Got a question for you guys. How do you currently use annotation in your classroom? Your face-to-face classroom, it could be online. It just doesn't matter to me today. How are you using it? So raise your hands. I would love to hear from you. Jim.
Okay, two ways. In face-to-face, invite students or encourage students to come up and put stuff on the board. And when I'm in a Zoom class, we've actually used the whiteboard and let people take a shot at playing around with something. If they have an idea, we'll start drawing something and then they'll take it over.
Very good. Very cool. Cindy.
Hi there. So I, in the classroom, have a PowerPoint that I project on the whiteboard, and we write over stuff on the PowerPoint. But because I'll be teaching by Zoom synchronously for the first time this fall, I'm really interested in learning how to better adapt some of those in-class strategies for Zoom.
Yeah, so am I. So yeah, I'm waiting for a classroom to be fully set up for Zoom for the Flex classroom. So I'll be in there trying to figure out how to wield it, because it'll be in ways kind of different. But I think we can use some of the same strategies and make it all work. So we'll see. We'll see. So today we're just going to talk a little bit about annotation. Does anybody else have an example on how they annotate normally in class? Things that you guys do? I'll even forego the hand raising unless you guys get out of order. So then I'll enforce it. Math, I know, does a lot of you scribble on the board. Do you have your students annotate, come up and work things out? Yeah. I see head nodding. That helps on a thing. Except if you're not showing your face, then that works like worthless. But the fact that I can see some of you, it's all good. And John,
yes,
over there in the, oh yeah, you raised your hand. All right, John, how are you doing it in your classroom?
well, primarily it's through the essay writing, and then we go into peer review workshops, and then it's a full day of annotating comments and on their papers, both me and other students at the same time.
Now, do you project student work up on the board and then,
Well, I haven't, projected. Sometimes I have student samples
okay.
from previous classes and previous students, which students like that. They like to see previous student samples. And if there was a lot of times the current students, the paper, if they wanted to share it, takes them a while to get comfortable with sharing right away if it's a first year writing class. So they do it, they share it among themselves, private, among 2 or 3 people.
Okay. Very cool. All right. So in Zoom, we have a lot of different ways that we can do this, right? So just thinking about this whole annotation, that we could have a blank page. I mean, we could have an easel that we're writing on. We could have a blank piece of paper that we put under a document camera, right? And, or it doesn't even have to be blank. I mean, we can just throw it down there. Or, you know, a whiteboard, Blackboard, that those are ways that we've done it in class. We can, other ways to do it, we've projected like a Google slide or a Google document and shared that, and everybody can see it, and you can start typing things and people can see it, and that is a way that you can certainly share things. Or draw things on an existing document, that we can do that. Or, you know, bring something up and, you know, circle things and highlight. I mean, just all kinds of different ways that we can annotate. Going into this whole Zoom thing, you need to really think about, and I'm seriously, for the first couple sessions, I would say really script out what you plan to do in class, and note, I am going to use the annotation tool here, right? So for example, today's little presentation, this is what I plan to be doing today, right? And I have it in red to me, show this, doing, you know, just so that I don't miss anything, but I'm also, you know, trying to keep everything on track, and I know what I've done, but it also forces me to really think through what I'm doing. Once you get more comfortable with doing these things and doing the tools, you probably don't have to do this. But for the last 15 presentations that I've given, I've had to do this because I'm still not figuring, you know, knowing which rope to pull at the right time to get the right bell to come on. So so I'd really encourage you to do exactly that, is you know, try to script those things out as much as possible, so you know what you're projecting, what tool that you're going to use at the same time. Okay. And then it's a matter of practicing this. So in this case, I just have a Google document up here, right? I think I'm sharing, that's what I'm sharing. You know, and so I'm just highlighting things that I want to emphasize. Practice these strategies. Go out, find friends, pay friends, whatever. Get them there and, you know, practice. We are always available to practice with. That if you guys want to test something out, get us on a meeting. I'd be happy to do it, and we'll try this. If you have access to another computer, do that also. Have that other computer up, connected to your meeting, and see what's being shown, right? Because very often it says, oh, you're sharing what? Can they see what I'm doing? And, you know, when you're first doing this, it can be a little kind of unnerving. What are they seeing? How are they seeing it? You know, I just circled something. Did that actually happen? You know, so it's important to do that. Let me see my annotation tools. Okay, so on your menu, and once again, I can't see it for you guys, that probably at the top of the screen of what I'm showing, you may see something, and it may be a drop-down menu, you know, 3 dots or something, but Annotation Tools. And I know we've played with Annotation Tools before, but this allows you, I've made it available so you can annotate on my document. Yep, and there we are. We are annotating on my document. Different colors, it's just gonna be chaos. But I have that ability too, that I can draw something. So you know, this right here, practice these strategies, that's important, okay? And so we can do this with, you know, other people's documents, that you can bring up the text tool and also type, you know, new text. And now I have that new text with my mouse. And that's my other new text. Nice. So one of the things here is making notes collaborative. With your students, you know, you can have the stamping tool, for example, with the arrow, and every time I can make a new stamp, you can have them get their own color, and you know, have them make some type of annotation on your document with the stamping tool. For example, a green check mark. You know, everybody gets a different color, but you know, okay, I understand that principle, I understand that principle, I understand that principle, and you can maybe have them check it off or something like that. Or I'll show you other ways to do that in another document that I'll have you do some annotations with that. But those tools are available. The nice thing is, you know, if I move through my document, let me get my mouse here. Right, this has now no meaning to what I initially had it set up for there. That now we're back to having some type of meaning, and Cindy, you know, put her annotation in there. But if I have a long document, now this is worthless. You know, this is like, oh, we like making new friends all the time. So I have an option where I can clear all the drawings and start from a blank. Okay, so Ashley, I'm not sure regarding a phone. I know so you may not, okay, so when I'm on my iPad, let me pull that up. Stop sharing for a second. And so this is another strategy. You can take, you know, if you have an iPad or a tablet or something like that, one of the things that you can do is join the meeting. And so I am going to join a meeting. So 94068. And let's see. All right, so now I am in, switch to gallery view. I see everybody. So yeah, it's kind of trying to do multiple things here at one time. All right, so if I share my screen, you may have to like bring my personal window up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but on my iPad, down in the corner, I have some annotation tools. I had some annotation tools, right? So there's a little button there that if I select that button, that then I have annotation tools on my iPad. And so those tools will show up at the bottom on my iPad, and then I can use those particular tools, which is very useful. So now I can pull up my highlighter. And so if you were in a flex classroom, this could potentially be very useful to you, right? That you can have that iPad separately, have a stylus where you can then, you know, scribble on the screen, highlight stuff. Not a very good highlighter. They threw me out of kindergarten. But you know, having that available, that I can make annotations on this, right? So and I'm using the highlighter tool, which is probably not the best one for that. I can also change the weight of it and make it bigger. So yeah. Did you find those tools on your phone, Ashley? If so, feel free to go out and annotate. So, all right. Stop sharing for the moment. So when you try to erase what someone else annotated, it does not work. With well, that's a good. Let me go back to screen sharing, see if all that stuff is there. No, I got rid of it, so it cleared it when I got out of it. So, Cindy,
Yes.
you were going to say something?
Oh, hang on. Yeah, so I'm the one who put in that question because I was concerned, what if you're allowing this group annotation and the student writes something that shouldn't be appearing on the screen? And so that's why I tried to erase somebody else's to see if I could do that, and it did not let me. So it's for me to, you know, allow that to be used. I need.
Well, this is so I can. What can I erase here? Right. So other people have scribbled on the thing here. I found what I found it. Yeah.
So
as a host, I can undo all that.
Good. I was able to erase my own, but not anyone else's. So I was hoping that was the case, that you had the controls to it.
Yes, you do. So, you know, part of it is setting the norms for the class. You know, like, hey, be adults.
Yeah, I don't normally have an issue, but it would be just the time that I had one, first time ever. And
sure. Jim.
Yeah, just kind of adding on to what Cindy was looking at. I did the 2-day Zoom educator conference.
Okay.
And two things, they were very focused on primary to secondary students. And what she was talking about is a major situation for those two environments. And the instructor, the Zoom host, is the one who has the control, which is what I think you've all found. You can erase your own, or the host can erase everybody's. The other thing that was interesting is that there's a mechanism, and I don't know where it is, where you can actually pitch somebody out of your class. Yes. if they're not obeying.
Yes, and when you do your settings, you can set it so that they can't come back in, or that they can come back in after they've been dismissed. So.
Right.
Yeah, basically you pull up the participants window, and then you have an option for more, and I can remove somebody. Or I can put into a waiting room. So, Jim, bye. Right. And he's back.
I feel so used.
So, anyways, yeah, so so a couple things with the stylus. So I went out and I picked up a pretty nifty stylus that has a fine point on it, right? It doesn't look like a fine point. It looks like a, it's just kind of a flat blade on it, on the tip of it, right? But when it writes on your iPad, it's a very fine point. With the annotations, you can change, you know, the width and stuff like that, or on the different writing tools, so you have this. I'm going to hook up my iPad to this. So my computer is hardwired in, right? So I'm using a cable to connect to my computer to the internet. My iPad is on a Wi-Fi. So therefore, I'm on separate networks, and so I would not be able to bring my iPad in unless I connected to the meeting like I had done. So I am going to leave the meeting with my iPad. And so that is gone. So now what I do is I connect, you know, basically my Apple cable to it and plug it into a USB port. Right, so now I am connected to my computer. So one of the options now from my computer is I can share my iPad. And up in the upper right hand corner, I basically drag this down and I click on screen mirroring. And it will tell me, you know, my iPad information there. So you'll be able to see that once I have started sharing it. And so now it's sharing it. So I selected that Zoom for Stan. And where it says Zoom Stan, that would have, you know, mirror screening. But now I can show you on my iPad, you know, a variety of different things. So this makes actually a wonderful annotating tool, because I can go ahead and pick a drawing program, and Penultimate. We'll pick up Penultimate. I like Penultimate. It's an app I had to buy, but it allows me to export those documents after I've written on them, and I can share them with my class if I want to. Okay. Well, turn off notifications. That's an important part. All right. So create a notebook, test, and go in there and create a new note. And with this, I have all kinds of different paper that I want. So if I needed graph paper, for example, that I can use that. And I don't play with graph paper a lot, but there's probably a way that I can change the size of that. But from here, I can draw a graph, or if I want to increase the size, right? So I can make these a little bolder. So with the annotation, try to make it as, you know, relatively bold as possible without, you know, kind of distorting the world. But when you use this, if you're trying to write with it, so I have a new page. If I sit here and I try to write, you know, maybe try to put my name on it, my hand may cause it to not know where the stylus is. So to get around that, and I don't have a good glove, I'm using this winter mitten here, which adds its own levels. But if you can find like a cotton glove, that is a good thing, because when you put your hand down, you won't cause those interactions with your iPad. And then I can write a lot more fluid with that. So having that glove is, kind of an important tool that I found to make this work a little more fluid. Yeah. Questions, thoughts, comments? Okay.
Hey, you've given me something to think about now, because I've got an old Samsung Note phone that comes with its own little baby stylus.
Right.
And I don't use this as a phone anymore, but I just shut it off, but it works. And I'm wondering if I could maybe plug that in. I've got cables. I wonder if I could.
Now, what kind of phone is it?
This is a Samsung, and I don't know if it's got the
So
screen mirroring in it. So that's
you will probably have to go. You'll probably have to connect to your meeting. Virtually connect through your meeting, not through the cable. So I know this works with an iPad, but not necessarily with other tools like that.
See, I've got an old Android tablet. I say old, it's probably 6 years old now, so it's prehistoric practically. That won't upgrade, and I know I couldn't get the Zoom app on it. The operating system's too old, but that has a stylus also. Maybe I'll fool around and see if I can do anything with that. Should have some time tomorrow to play.
Yeah, like I said, test all these things out. So
yeah,
try to practice with them. Okay, so this was just kind of, it's just talking about Blackboard Management, whiteboard, Blackboard Management. There is such a thing as a Harvard Business School board plan. And apparently at Harvard, they have whiteboards and blackboards spread around the room. And they basically use each board for a specific portion of their class. And they have orchestrated this around the room, that they do these things, and the boards are connected and all kinds of things. So kind of the same thing, that if you were to, do some annotations in your class, one way that you can do it is just bring up some blank Google Slides. Right? Let me make a new slide here. I just want blank. Right. Share my screen. And so once again, I can pull up those annotation tools, and I can work on one particular screen. And rather than erase I would actually, it's better in PowerPoint, because you can present in PowerPoint, have like 4 different screens, and then you can use the annotation tools from PowerPoint and annotate directly on your slide. And then you can go to the next page, and it'll be a clean slide again. So if you've ever done the annotation on PowerPoint. If not, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. So here I have PowerPoint, and so I can have a number of blank slides that I'm working with. And, you know, ideally set this stuff up ahead of time. And so now I can go ahead and present. And so all I have is a blank slide. And, you know, by using the annotation tool, whoops. That I have this available to me. But when I go to the next screen, and I lied. Nope. Sorry, my fault. I want actually the annotation tool from PowerPoint. So thanks. Yeah. Well, they're all blank slides. So if I hit my space bar over and over, you're not going to see a change. So I'm going to go back to the first slide. So I'm on the first slide. And matter of fact, I will annotate that to say, with my pen, I will write 1. And if I go to the next slide, the 1 disappears, and I can say 2, and 3, and 4. But ideally, if I go back to the previous slides, my annotations will be there. Okay, so you can do that with PowerPoint, making that happen. And so now, you know, that if I was, you know, working a formula, you know, then I could go to the next slide, do something else with it. And this is where having a writing tablet, some kind of tablet that you can write with, makes it much better to work with. But then, you know, the challenges are, and that's why you got to experiment with it. Can I affect the you know, presentation from a tablet and do the same thing? And I'm pretty confident I can't, but I would need a separate like a drawing tablet that I can work with. So I think Sandra has one of my drawing tablets out there, so I could do it with that then. Wacom bamboo, absolutely. I don't think I have any more. It's amazing, and I do agree. So. Oh, you want to keep your annotations, discard. All right. Where am I in my notes here? So here, what you could do with this, and I'm using Google, is to actually work with your students and have an annotation. So I am going to present this. I'm going to share it with you. And so, for example, supposedly we were doing a SWOT analysis. I could actually have you write on this using the annotation tools. So if someone annotates on it, that'd be awesome, right? Where's my annotation tools? Right, so nice. A for the day. And so you could fill out this particular slide and have people write all the way through this. The other option is you could share it as a Google Doc and have them go, you know, to that particular slide and just work on it as a collaborative Google Doc. So you have different options that you could use. So slide 2. Let me clear all the drawings. Who do I got? Yeah, you could do that with a breakout group that you can assign them, you know, their own slide that they could go work on and do that as part of a breakout group. Absolutely. So here is just a mind map, right? Pick a topic and just start filling in the appropriate bubbles, you know, on your own mind map, right? Or here is a set of coordinates, right? That you can go draw stuff, right? Yeah, that's exactly it. Right, so right, so you can just project that, draw on top of it, you know, clear it, you know, clear all the drawings, you know, now I want to show something that originates from here, you know, I suppose I could have taken a straight line and did it a little neater, right? Have my own little points. Right. And it's just a matter of prepping these things ahead of time, you know, and now, all right, we'll clear it again and then we'll talk about something entirely different, you know, in how it depends on what you want to do with it. So it could be, if you are in history, maybe that you're putting a timeline together, right? You know, from the invention of the computer, Babbage, and what Turing put together, and you know, all these guys, you can put them out on a timeline and have them, you know, fill out the blocks. Or you know, put a world map up there, or a map of the United States, and you know, basically, you know, kind of the same things that, you know, it's like, okay, we went through Tennessee, you know, and we had that battle, and then, you know, these guys were making advances up here, or we just say we love Western New York. All possible, you know, with the map. So those are, you know, just showing you some examples on ways that you can apply this. So. Okay. Can you save that with all the annotations? With PowerPoint, you can, yes, definitely. I am not absolutely positive with the annotations. I'm sorry, I'm not positive. I will go check it out. Another way of doing this is, like I said, just having your own little whiteboard here. All right. Make sure you use dry erase on these things and not permanent markers. Gone through so many whiteboards before, my own personal one. But you know, I can do the same thing, right? Trying to make sure I get the light right. Right. And draw that, or you know, write on it. If depending on how big that you have it, you can have a stand for it and use that for writing also. Okay. And that's, you know, I've used that. It works quite well. I had last night, somebody was actually having a math problem. Seriously, they had a math problem. It was dealing with negative fractions and stuff. It was fun. But we got them out and we're able to show that. Okay. Okay, my last show and tell is using my iPad as a document camera. So you could probably do it with your phone. I can certainly do it with my iPad. And I am going to share my iPad again with you. And so with my iPad, one of the things that I would want to do is turn on my camera. Okay, so my mouse honestly will not activate my iPad. I have to move my hand from my mouse to my iPad, right, to activate it. But I go ahead and select the camera. So just kind of give you a setup. I have my computer, right, which is the crazy infinity screen. It's nice, right? I have my other computer here, and I have this new device here, right? It is a gooseneck device, and in that device, I can place my iPad. Try to do it without breaking it. There we go. And let's flip the screen again. So now I have this device. This thing cost me, just for this class, I think $23, right? I was able to pick it up. And it allows me to move it in all kinds of crazy ways to get it the way I want it, right? Now, is that backwards to you guys?
Yeah.
It is. Okay, so I have to go mess with a setting to flip it. Well, that's not good. All right. We'll try it a different way. Oh, that's much better. All right, so my messy desk here was all my so there we go, right? So now I can sit here and make annotations on this. All right, point out things here with my iPad and my trusty gooseneck holder here. So and the same, basically the same things with that you would do with a document camera, that you can use another piece of paper on top, pull it down, and incrementally show things, so you don't have to show the whole document at one time. So that's basic document camera type strategies and such. So those are, yeah, craft a plan and try it. I don't have, there's no magic things to this. There's just different ways that you could potentially do it. And that's what I certainly tried to show you. I'm a huge fan of Google Docs, but in some cases, PowerPoint does something that Google Docs doesn't do, and that's that annotation, kind of live annotation that you can do. But in other cases, you want students to annotate. So you have the ability to give them permission to annotate and, go crazy on your document. You can clear it. So great question, Cindy. Wacom bamboo that you mentioned, you see folio and slate. I don't know. I'm familiar with bamboo. That's the ones that we have gotten. It's the first one that I saw. It works. And I said, oh, great. But I haven't gone out to experiment with other ones, only because, yeah, I don't have that deep of pockets. And so I haven't done that. So I don't know. I would say go to a Best Buy, and if they have some, experiment with them. Get a feel for how they work, how they fit in your hand, how they work. Is Sandra's still here? Sandra, you've had probably a wealth more experience using a tablet than I have. Can you talk about your experiences?
So it was kind of difficult to utilize at first. Lack of knowledge in using them. I've never used anything like it before, but there's still a lot of it I don't even use. And I think that there's some people who are using their iPads to do sort of the same kind of thing. What I do is I'll pull up my PowerPoint presentation that I've already prepared for the entire class. And then I use the tablet to go into each one and annotate on it. I use it for whenever I'm doing my videos for YouTube or whenever I'm doing for an in-person class as well. I have never had it to where I've done the students annotating as well. That's something that I'm looking forward to trying, but I'm going to try it first with my iPad to see if I can make that happen. There's a lot of buttons that I just really don't use for it. It's a lot. It's great for artists or people who are, designing and things like that. But this is, to me, just having the accessibility to get it on the screen is really nice. I used it a lot for my videos.
Very cool. There are honestly a lot of different ways that we can engage with students, from polls to working with the chat to, doing the annotation to, things that I show in my screen. Yeah, I just have a plan, have a vision, how you're going to hold your class, what you're expecting them to see, what tools that you're going to use. And if you're trying something, test it well ahead to make sure that it works, right? I mean, one of the things, honestly, is like, oh, I can see through my iPad. But then when I actually had you guys look at it, it's like, how come everything's backwards? Are you guys seeing it backwards? Right? Now I know in the future, make sure that, I'm using the other camera on this, right? There's two cameras. One is, can take a shot of me. The other one takes a shot of everything else. And it's the everything else camera that allows me to show it properly. So, but without doing it once, I don't know, just simply trying to put this presentation together took me a few hours just experimenting with how do I do this? How can I do this? And yeah, it still was a little clumsy, but I know that, you get into a certain way, this is how I do it, and you will become very proficient in how you do it, right? The fact that I'm jumping through, 8, 9 different ways of annotating, it kind of looks like chaos and a mess, because I don't, it's just showing you the tool, but really putting it into practice in a classroom, that's a whole different thing. So thoughts, comments, questions?
So what's the first step that the student needs to do to annotate?
So the annotate one is you have to be showing something on your screen,
So
right?
you share the screen first.
You share the screen first,
Yeah.
right? So I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Then probably at the top of their screen, right? Because I'm getting a different view because I'm the host. I don't know. They should be able to get access to the annotation tools.
Should I be able to right now?
Yes. Well, let's see, annotate. I have my tools on, so you should be able to go to the top of the screen and there may be like 3 dots or something.
Yeah, there's a little green strip on mine, and then a little drop down that says view options.
Okay. Yeah.
You hit the view options and it gives you the ability there.
But I got the 3 dots and a flashing little red circle, but nothing happens when I'm just clicking on it.
3 dots, and when you click on the 3 dots, anything?
No.
Oh no, this is separate from the program, kind of. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. Everybody else have a better way to explain it?
Yeah, the red dot is recording.
Yeah.
So when you mouse over that green, the green bar, anything happen?
Yeah, over to the right, it's the bar turns black and it says view options with a drop down. Hit the drop down, and I have zoom ratio, hide video
Okay.
panel.
I got it. So it's under view options up there. Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
I got it.
Right on. And then you can
I got it. And is this
Oh, that-
available? Oh, go ahead.
Is that something you had to do on your end, Stan, is to enable that?
Yeah, probably you would have to go back to your settings.
Okay.
And Sandra, yes, if they share their screens, you can annotate on it. Yeah,
Okay.
great point, because you can have students show their work and, suppose, they worked out a math problem, they're showing it, they can present their screen, and then, you can, make annotations, or, like Jim, he does, computer programming, they could show code, and you can put a little arrow pointer like, hey, semicolon right there, That's why it doesn't work right there. So, yeah. Or John, if you've got an essay that you can circle something, whatever.
So everybody can annotate simultaneously.
They can, yeah. If you allow those permissions, yes.
And is annotation available through Blackboard?
Not necessarily in the same way, no.
I mean, if I brought up content in Blackboard, can it be annotated?
There is a tool called Hypothesis that you can annotate documents, yes.
Oh.
So, but, in terms of Zoom, what you're seeing on the screen, and, showing annotations. So, annotations are those writings on the blackboard or whiteboard.
Right.
Annotations are what you're showing in a document camera and, presenting. Annotations can be as you're red inking a paper, if you wanted to show it to students, those are annotations. So those are all different ways of annotating.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? So Flex Classrooms, I'll be right with you, Jim. Flex Classrooms will be in there. So that'll be a great time to come test it out and practice. And you'll be able to practice pretty much anytime nobody's in the room. So should be able to do that.
Hey, I just wanted to ask anybody else's advice. One of the challenges that I've just become aware of is I have one evening class that lasts 2.5 hours plus, and that's now been moved to Zoom. So all these little things that we're doing are going to be put into play at some point, just try to keep people's interest. But has anybody had a 2-hour plus long Zoom class? I know you look like you had a little Zoom fatigue when we started up today, Stan.
Only because, you know, it was like very
Sure.
kind of very fast paced. And so,
Well, I know when I went through the Zoom, whatever they call it, Zoom summer education program, whatever that was there, they kept talking about how Zoom fatigue was becoming an issue. So, but I'm just curious if anybody else has had any experience with surmounting it. I guess that's the question, because that's going to be new territory.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be at the front of it the whole time, it's going to wear you out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, hey, you know, go craft me, you know, this code. I'm going to give you 20 minutes to go do it.
See you later.
See you back here, right? When you're done, right? I'll see you in 20 minutes. Here's a timer.
Yep.
Don't expect to see me unless you're stuck, you know? And so, yeah, give them opportunities to do work at their own desk and those things. If it's just going to be entirely on the screen for the whole period of time, that could be, you know, I mean, these presentations I'm giving, you know, they're slated for an hour. I'm just basically just opening the fire hose, turning it on, and at the end of the hour I turn it off. And then after that, folks like, hey, can you show me how to do that? That's, you know, but it's more awareness. It's like, I didn't know you can do that. And now the other learning comes into play. But, you know, for what you guys do, your instruction, you know, you've got 16 weeks that you're working them through systematically, you know, just, yeah, give them opportunities. Yeah, try to do all the best things that you can do to make it engaging, but you don't have to use all, you know, I don't think you have to use all that time where you have to be presenting for that whole time.
Good.
That's rough.
That's really tough.
Okay. And a point, you know, Zoom is a great platform to go out and do, you know, recordings that you turn into video and that you put online, right? Because you can share your screen, you can use the annotation tools, all that'll get captured in the recording, and then, you know, so it's quite a useful tool for doing that. So you can share your presentations, annotate on your presentations, do all that stuff. So. All right, folks, will you be setting up Zoom in the classroom for the flex classes? Yeah, that is a, will you be setting up Zoom? Yeah, the flex classrooms you basically be connecting to a Zoom session. And so we will have to provide you with the connection URLs for those Zoom sessions. Yeah. The challenge is it's the same URL for everybody's classes. So trying to keep the riffraff out, that'll be entertaining. So you'll have to talk to your students to say, hey, only use this URL for the class at the class period. So
I'm blasting off, Stan. Thanks again for your help.
Bye, Joe. All right, Cindy.
Yes, sir.
I thought you wanted to say something.
Oh, did I say? Oh, about wondering. I didn't want to say something. No, but I'm looking at the chat now. I think, so there's a question about what does Mary say? Mary's my daughter, and she's doing a problem solving Zoom synchronous this summer. So it's twice a week and it's 3.5 hours a day, and it's problem solving. So she, I think, uses a lot of the break rooms. So she divides them up. She works with them, and then she lets them work on their own, maybe in the breakout rooms with other students and then brings them back, says you've got 10 minutes or you've got 5 minutes or whatever. And then she brings them all back together and they talk about it. So I think it's going very well for her. So, but I haven't been there when she's actually doing it because I try to, last night was the first time she had done it actually from my house and I could hear it, but I was trying not to invade. So,
Right.
but I'm sure she'd be glad to talk about what's worked well and what hasn't, just from the, she had now 11 classes. She has one more to go. So,
Well, I'll tell you what, I think faculty development days, because, we have been in this since March, but I mean, really getting focused, for the fall term. It will be interesting to see all the lessons learned of, all these things sound great in principle, but it's when you actually put them into practice is like, well, that didn't work according to how it was scripted. So I think the upcoming faculty development days will be fascinating. So if they include that kind of stuff.
I hope so.
So, all right, folks, anything else?
Thank you, Stan, as always.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful day. I'll be out in Olean next week, so
All right. We'll
you'll
you
see
then.
me.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful day. See you guys.